What's going on, brothers and sisters? Chris here from Namaste Gaming, and today we're going to talk about my first impressions of Wildstar, why choosing the right class in this game is more important than in any other MMO, and I've also got a quick tip to throw your way to help you level a little bit faster. So first off, my impressions. Some of you probably heard about the launch being a touch rocky. There was some downtime for sure, and it definitely was not the smoothest of launches. I know in EU it was particularly bad, with people who were trying to roll on Hazak, the EU PvP server, experiencing queues of up to 30 hours. I guess that's what happens when you only roll out one PvP server for the entirety of Europe. Kinda short-sighted. Anyway, after the initial launch junk was sorted, things got awesome fast. The game itself is really solid. It's just an overall well-made game. It's not perfect, and you guys can probably count on a Wildstar needs to fix their shit video at some point, but what they've done right, they've done really right. So let's kick things off with a low point. Questing is really average. It's serviceable, but it definitely doesn't break the mold in any way. I'd say it's pretty much on par with WoW questing, which I don't hate, but it's certainly nothing too special. I know, don't all rush out and buy the game at once, right? But here's the saving grace of questing. The combat in this game, really fucking good. In my opinion, this game has the best combat of any MMO on the market. It's responsive, most of the abilities have impact, there's a ton of depth to it, and most importantly, it's fun. I know, crazy idea, right? So the questing is meh, but it's really just a vessel to give you an excuse to engage in the combat and level up and earn new abilities. Kinda like a chicken nugget is merely a vessel for the deliciousness that is Thai sweet chili sauce. If you disagree with either point, in my opinion, you probably don't have a soul. Just putting it out there. Anyway, carrying on the theme of awesome combat, holy crap you guys, Battlegrounds. Now granted, I'm biased, cause BG's is my shit, but I haven't had anywhere near this much fun since Warsong Gulch was first put into WoW, and everyone was still trying to figure out how to PvP in that game. There are currently only 2 Battlegrounds in the game, but there's another one that they teased not too long ago that's supposed to be on its way, and of course plans for more. I suppose it's also worth mentioning at this point that you can level through Battlegrounds, and the experience and loot are both decent. Not quite as good as PvE, but they're definitely enough to get you by and make the experience rewarding. I'll be leveling at least one character through mostly PvP, and I just really love that it's a viable option. Also, if you're a lore junkie, this game has a ton to offer you. In addition to being a new IP that no one really knows a whole ton about quite yet, they've really put some effort into rewarding lore-obsessed players. There are data cubes that add lore entries to your journal pretty much everywhere, and the Scientist Path option is almost entirely geared towards exploring the story behind Nexus and the disappearance of the Elden. I'd reckon that most of you guys ended up on my channel because of one of my build guides, so you can count on some of those coming once I've got my characters leveled, but for now, just let me say that I love the build variety in this game, both because it engages the hell out of my creativity, and because it has so much room for future expansion. It's not perfect, and it's not the most newbie-friendly system, but it's powerful and it allows you a ton of customization. Housing is sweet too. I haven't had a ton of time to play with it, but what I've seen I love, and I was browsing through some of the stuff that other people have created on the Wildstar Screenshots subreddit, and I don't even understand, man. There are some creative wizards who play this game. I'm stoked to take a stab at it myself once I cap a character out, although some of the early efforts have set the bar pretty high. It's a great addition to the game. Personally, I haven't really had a chance to get stuck into a housing system in a game since my EverQuest 2 days, and Wildstar's implementation is way more powerful, so it's pretty enticing stuff to me. Oh, and for the record, this is still very much a first impressions kind of deal right now. My highest level tune is sitting at level 20, and I'm not going to be blazing a path through the levels, what with real life getting in the way and all, so I'll keep you guys updated, and if there is a reasonable amount of interest, I'd be happy to do an ongoing review kind of series thing to let you guys know what my thoughts are as we go on. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about class choices. Choosing the right class in this game is a bit more personal than in other games I've played. Because you're having to aim almost every skill and your class mechanic has a huge impact on the way you experience combat, picking a class that feels right is super important. Let me spin a little tale for y'all. Back in beta, I had initially rolled an engineer. They seemed like a perfect fit for me on paper. Medium range, heavy armor, good sustained damage, and utility too. I figured it'd be like how I played my Guardian in Guild Wars 2 or my Power Tech in SWTOR, and since I loved those classes, it seemed like a natural fit. Wrong. I ended up hating how their class mechanic, volatility, worked. It just didn't feel fun to me. I tried all the classes. I loved Spellslinger back when Spell Surge was off the GCD, but post-nerf it felt like the elegance had kind of faded from the class. I had a ton of fun with Medic, but I had a really hard time coming up with a build that fit my playstyle. Warrior and Stalker were pretty fun, but I knew I wanted a healing class for my first 50 because I hate tanking in general, and honestly the idea of only being able to queue as DPS sounded like less fun than chewing broken glass. I hated Esper and abandoned it at level 3, and I was settled on Medic as being my best choice until I watched an Esper PvP video. The dude was using a build that fit my ideal PvP playstyle almost exactly. Good sustain, good burst, and with a tweak or two, the mobility I was looking for as well. If I hadn't seen that video, I'd have written Esper off entirely. And don't get me wrong, the early levels on that class are still the most painful out of any of the classes in my opinion, but it turns out that they're a late bloomer and I'm enjoying myself, especially in PvP. And that, my friends, is something that has never happened to me in quite this way. And now you know why I strongly suggest trying every class and checking out their skills and amps before deciding on a main. I'd recommend getting them all to level 20 if you can. It's a great way to test them out because by level 20, classes have generally got the amps and the skills that they need to really bloom and do their thing. It's a good indicator for the feel. As far as alts go, I have no idea. Warrior, Medic, and Spellslinger are all calling to me pretty hard for different reasons for each, and I do feel the desire to give Engineers a shot post-beta as well, and Stalker definitely has some appeal since my first level capped character in WoW was a rogue, and I do miss the whole sneaky stabby gameplay thing, but I think you can probably see my predicament now since that's literally every class in the game that's not Esper. They're all fun, they're all different, and they're all both viable and valuable, so get your feet wet before you hand one of them a ring is what I'm trying to say. And with that out of the way, let's get to the Namaste Tip of the Day, a new segment that may or may not appear in future videos and is really just a vessel for me to get this tip out to you guys. So if you want to level fast, there are two add-ons that are well worth getting. The floating breadcrumby thing on the screen right now is an add-on called 8th Quest. Those dots lead straight to the closest quest objectives. Given that the biggest time suck in questing is typically finding the shit you either need to kill or collect, this add-on is a godsend. The other add-on is more just a convenience thing, but the time it saves does add up throughout the levels, so you know, if you're an efficiency geek, it counts. That add-on is Instant Quest Accept. Does exactly what it says on the tin. You talk to the quest giver and it instantly skips through all the extraneous BS between that point and the part where you get to start stabbing things. Now, I understand that these add-ons kind of strip that initial sense of new and shiny from the game and turn the leveling process into a task list instead of a legit journey. This segment of the video is for people who don't really care about that and just want to hit 50 and get to the Elder game as quickly as possible. It's not a right or wrong thing, different people value different parts of the experience, and as long as we're all having fun, who cares if people aren't doing it your way? One add-on I think we can all agree on, though, is Better Quest Log. The default quest log is pretty awkward and makes abandoning multiple quests a tedious chore. Better Quest Log streamlines everything and makes it way more simple and user-friendly. Whether you're taking your time and reading every piece of quest text that comes your way, or just trying to knock them out as quickly as you can, Better Quest Log is far superior. I'll be throwing out a full video discussing add-ons and UI customization eventually, but for now that's been your OG Namaste pro tip of the day for leveling faster in Wildstar. Finally, if you're looking to play with me, I'm playing Dominion side on the Avatus server, however it's pronounced. I don't know, Avatus, Avatus. I don't know. Anyway, my in-game contact info will be listed in the description below. The Namaste Gaming Guild exists and is accepting members, particularly recruiters and officers, so hit me up through in-game mail or on Twitter if you're interested. I would love to hear what you guys think of the game, what class you're playing, and how you decided on it, so if you feel like sharing, let me know what's up in the comments below. I've also got a pretty big announcement coming up soon, so keep your eyes on your sub box so you don't miss it. And on that note, if you enjoyed the video, show the channel some love and hit that like button like you mean it. If you're new around here, go ahead, hit the sub button. I will do unspeakable things in back alleys in Southeast Asia to make it worth your while. If for some reason you actually want even more of me in your life, silly idea, hit me up on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Steam, Origin, Tinder. Wait, what? Anyway, internet's me. Description has info, words. That's all I've got for you beautiful human beings today, but until next time, much love to each and every one of you, and stay black.